start out by congratulating Commissioner Slive on the National Football Foundation Legacy Award that was just named, I think, maybe yesterday or the day before, and also say that I've been here in this league really during the entire tenure of Commissioner Slive, and I was just so blessed to be a part of the league during this time. And the job that he did was phenomenal, and now I'm really looking forward to Greg Sankey's leadership. Been knowing Greg a long time, obviously been within the league offices for quite some time now, and really know that over time it'll prove out that he's going to be a tremendous leader as well. So I want to start with that, and then just move into Georgia football. First thing is I was very excited about this team, this program. Our guys have been working extremely hard. The rules have changed a little bit where you can make some things mandatory throughout the summer, and there's certain things that we can do now that we weren't able to do in the past. And I know that these guys have been paying the price for the ability to compete in the best league in America. And going into my 15th season here at Georgia, I know that this league is jam-packed full of great coaches and great players and great venues, and it's just an experience that a lot of people would love to be able to be a part of. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity to do that, and looking forward to this season. So with that, I'll open it up and have at it.
All right, if you have a question, please raise your hand. Grace and Joseph and Elizabeth have microphones. We'll get one to you. We'll start over here. Right here in the middle. Right here.
Hey Mark, David Caravella with the Post-Interior in Charlotte. Can you give me more clarity on who your starting quarterback might be to enter the season, and why did things work out with Jacob Park?
Okay, asking who I think will be the starter, is that what you're saying? I have no idea who the starter is going to be. We are going to have a tremendous competition. We're going to continue that competition for that position. I think it's going to take a while. We have 29 practice opportunities before the first game, and we're going to get in the rotation where we can see the guys that we want to see compete, and then make a decision on who should be the starter. But right now, I don't know who that is. And when we came out of spring, I think the guys made progress. I think the guys are able to function well in our system, but to say who's the man to lead the job, to win the job right now, I don't have that answer. As far as Jacob, things don't always work out for a kid for a lot of different reasons. The main thing with him is, I want to wish him the very best. He's a great kid. He's a very good competitor, very talented guy. And I'm just hoping that he lands in a spot where he can really thrive and finish out his college career.
We'll stay in the same section, just a couple rows back.
Adam Sparks, Tennessee. Mark,
I'm trying to know, where is it?
to your left.
Oh, I see.
Adam Sparks, Tennessee. Mark, Nick Chubb obviously is going to get a lot of Heisman Trophy hype. Is there an approach you take to helping him handle that? And was not bringing him today any effort on that, maybe to temper that attention a little bit?
Not at all. First of all, I normally try to bring seniors. It used to be just two guys. I bring an offensive, defensive senior. Then one time it became a third young man to come. This year in particular, Commissioner Slive, or Commissioner Sankey, I'm not sure which commissioner, wanted to have somebody who had a little bit of a story outside of just the football part. It happened to be Malcolm Mitchell for us this year. Now, Malcolm also happens to be a senior and happens to be a heck of a football player. But he's got a great story about his love for reading, his love for being in a book club, and he has now, written a little children's book and things like that. So, that's why the three that are here today. But as far as handling Nick, first of all, Nick is a very, he's pretty quiet, unassuming guy. He's a very hard worker. He's a great student. He's a great teammate. He's becoming a great leader for us. And he doesn't really like the hype. I mean, you can go back to his recruiting. He was very low-key. Decided he wanted to be in Georgia, did it quietly, didn't have a big old press conference, and stuck to his decision, didn't do a bunch of stuff to bring attention to himself. He doesn't care about that. He cares about working hard, playing hard, and helping Georgia win. And I really appreciate that about it. The other thing, as far as Heisman Trophy and all, I've been blessed to coach a couple of them in years past, and to me, that's as much of a team award as it is an individual award. Rarely does a guy win the Heisman if he's not on a team that's winning at a very high level. So, the team's going to fight like mad to win, and if something like that happens, that'd be wonderful.
Coach, we'll go on to our right in the very back.
Barry Bleacher Report. You mentioned the additional time you get with players this summer, and you have a quarterback in Grayson Lambert who transferred in. How has that helped his transition, and what specifically are your impressions, and what does he need to work on this summer?
Well, Grayson had some school to finish at Virginia in order to graduate. So he's really been in summer school at Virginia almost the entire summer.
All right, we'll go right here in the center. Right in front of us, Coach.
I need help.
Stephen M. Smith, the Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Coach, you touched a little bit on Malcolm Mitchell for being Georgia without Michael Bennett, without Chris Conley. How important is it to keep Malcolm Mitchell healthy? This is one of the big threats on the outside the stretch of the field.
Right, no doubt. I mean, he's a very explosive player. He's got a lot of experience. He's made plays in big games. And if he's healthy, we'll be better. But, that wide receiver position, no matter how good an individual may be, you have to have a group of receivers that can make plays. You have to have a quarterback that can deliver the ball. You got to have linemen that can protect. You got to have a run game that people will respect, that will allow you to get some coverages that are favorable to throw the football. So there's so many things that go into it. But when you do get the ball in the hands of somebody that can make a guy miss or have the speed to take it to the house, it's very valuable. And when you have a guy with some experience to go along with it, it's important. So we want him to stay healthy. We want everybody to stay healthy. And I'm glad he's doing well right now.
Coach, we'll go over to our left, third row on the
Hey, Coach. Tom Palmer, Kansas City Star. First of all, I want to get your reaction to Justin Houston's contract, and obviously with what he went through the combine slide in the third, it was great to see what he's done. And why do you think the Chiefs tend to draft a couple of your guys every year?
Right. I think we've got 5 players with the Chiefs right now. We're a team that has we're one of the top teams in America as far as having guys in the league overall. But Justin is a guy that I'm just so very proud of. I remember meeting him in high school and just seeing this kid with these long arms and big hands and big feet, and kind of not having grown into his frame yet a little bit, and watched him grow as a player and as a person throughout the time that he was in Georgia. And now to see him doing what he's doing in the league and being rewarded for the good things that he's done on the field and off as well. It's just a tremendous thing for him and for Georgia as well.
Coach, we'll go right down front row. Right.
Good morning, Coach. Coach, how has the specific cost of attendance by your school impacted your recruiting and your program?
Right. Well, I don't think it's really affected us much at all. It's not really come up as a big point of conversation. But, we feel very good about our situation. We have certainly the cost of attendance, but there's also some things that can be done in a creative way that was well within the rules that can get us in pretty good shape on that front. So we know Georgia can do just as well as anywhere in the country, and as far as taking care of our players, and we don't think it's going to have a negative effect at all.
We'll say you're on the front row over to our left.
Good morning, Coach. DJ Jones with Sports Division. Coach, I lost a couple of quality players on both sides of the ball to the NFL this year, and I just would like to know who will you be looking to be the leaders, the spiritual leaders in the locker room and on the field on the offensive side and the defensive side this year?
Right. Well, it's hard to define exactly who's going to be the leader, but offensively, I've seen John Diaz take charge of the offensive unit. Malcolm Mitchell has worked very diligently with the receiver group. You know, you've got defensively, Jordan Jenkins is a guy, a veteran, a senior. You know, Leonard Floyd, just through his work ethic and how hard he plays and practices. You know, so you've got guys like that. And you know, we're a little bit young still in the defensive backfield, but a guy that I like his work ethic on a daily basis is Dominic Sanders. You know, would I say he's the leader of the defense? I don't know if he's that, but if everybody worked as hard as he did, we'd be in pretty good shape.
Okay, we'll go to our aisle on the right, midway back.
Coach Richt, that's Celeste, Fox Sports Radio. Coach, just a couple of years ago, Keith Marshall was split Gary Tony early, looked like he was just going to be a phenomenal player. He's had some injuries. I've read some reports that he's feeling better. Well, Nick Chubb's really emerged as the guy right now, but you expecting some positive things from Keith Marshall? Where is he at right now?
Keith is very healthy, in my view. He's moving very well. He's decided to you know, cut his weight down to closer to where he was earlier in his career. You know, you can show up as a freshman about 210 pounds, and then you get in the weight room and you eat, you get nutrition and training table. And before you know it, you weigh 225, 230, and still look like dynamite, you know. But I think he feels more comfortable carrying a little bit less weight to help his quickness and speed. I mean, he's been a speed guy from the very beginning, so that'll help him. But I think he's in great shape, great spirits, and has been a guy that we're going to count on. He's been a guy we have counted on, and we expect to see a bunch from him.
Coach, we'll go over on our left, middle of the aisle.
Hey Mark, James Apicott from Charleston. Can you talk about how you guys have adjusted to Coach Schottenheimer and what are the main differences between him and Bobo?
Right. Well, Coach Schottenheimer is a guy that through the process of replacing Mike Bobo, we were looking for someone who was very similar to us in philosophy, you know, as far as how you think about how offensive football should be played. And you know, there's so many teams that are, you know, they're just spread. They're spread and they're going fast, and they're, you know, 4 receiver sets, sometimes 5, and all that. But we'll get into those types of sets to a certain degree, but we still want to have a physical running game to complement a play action passing game and complement our ability to spread and do those things. So it's kind of hard to find those guys in the college ranks. And Coach Schottenheimer, being an NFL coordinator for I think 9 years, the last 9 years. And watching the style of play, he was very similar to what we do. So the common fan may not see a whole lot different as far as the sets and the types of plays that we run, but I think the players have taken it well. He's a very good teacher and communicator, and I think he's got a great personality for the college game as far as being able to recruit and being able to relate to the young people.
Coach, we'll go in the aisle to our left.
Yes, Coach, I think the Freelander manipulated host. Can you describe the difference in Lorenzo Carter from this year now having a full year under his belt and also all spring practice, and how much bigger of an impact you feel like you can have on the defense this year?
Right. Well, you know, Lorenzo did have an impact for us as a freshman, and we thought the greatest value that he had was more of an edge rusher, a speed guy off the edge. I mean, that's kind of where his reputation was coming out of high school. But if you're going to play every down, you got to play the run. You got to be able to set the edge on some plays and be able to handle fullbacks coming at you on the power play, things of that nature. And so, you know, he's becoming more and more physical, and he's learning more how to play the run game better. So he's just becoming more of a complete player. And but he's one of many guys that in that position for us that are going to help us play well.
Coach, we'll go here in the middle aisle, right in front of you.
Jordan Hill with the red and black. Coach, how quickly last year did it become apparent to you that Nick Chubb could contribute as a freshman?
Well, when you watch the guys at preseason camp and you get into your first scrimmage type situations, and you just watch it. I mean, a guy like him, it doesn't take long to figure it out. And we saw it in high school too, obviously. And the running back position is probably one that young guys can take to and make a contribution, more so than maybe an offensive lineman. There's so much to learn as an offensive lineman. But you know, not until he really had to start carrying the load did I realize how much stamina he could have in a game, in an SEC game, at times carrying it 25, 35 times in a game. It's pretty impressive. And that's not our goal for our backs. And I don't want a guy to carry it 35 times a game his whole career, all season long. We want to share the load, but we had some issues with injuries and all. And, so there wasn't a lot of depth at that position. So he probably carried it more last year in certain games than he probably will this year.
We'll go right down front, Pat, second. Hey, Mark, Pat Dooley, the Gainesville Sun.
Yes.
Do you think you are a perfect example of how hard this league is and that you've had so much success and you still get so much criticism?
I didn't know I got criticism. I think the big thing, I know when I first started coaching 32 years ago, whatever it was, with Coach Bowden and being in what we call hideaway and him talking about notes and, a few things he talked about in the very beginning of those sessions. And one was criticism. He said, it's just the nature of the beast in the profession. He said, if you can't take criticism, then you shouldn't coach. And I think anybody who's in a leadership role is going to get critiqued. People are going to have opinions. Even as a parent, if you say you got to be in at 11 and everybody else gets to stay out till midnight, you might get criticized for that, or you may hear grumbling and all that kind of thing. But the goal as a leader is to do what you think is in the best interest of the people that you're in charge of, the people that you're blessed to be in authority over, and focus on that. And that's what I do on a daily basis. I don't worry about anything, whether it's good or bad. I mean, people have said some good things over the years too.
Coach, we'll go about midway back in the left section.
Yeah, Edgar Thompson, Carolina, there's so much focus on Nick Chubb, a lot of other playmakers. What's the it's a good problem to have, but what's the challenge of kind of making sure guys get involved?
Right, there's no challenge really. It's just more of a, like you say, it's a privilege, it's a blessing to have, playmakers, and the goal is to keep people fresh, keep them healthy, find what guys can do well and get them in a position to do it. But again, it takes everybody doing their job for anybody to have success. I mean, Nick Chubb had great success last year, when you look at the numbers. But he had a bunch of guys blocking for him. Fullbacks, tight ends, linemen, quarterbacks getting in the right play, receivers blocking downfield. And then him, being God gifted and doing his thing. I think the more playmakers you have, the merrier. And that's not too big of a challenge to try to figure out how to get it done. I'd rather have the problem of a bunch of them rather than trying to figure out if we got anybody who can make a play.
Coach, we'll go to aisle on the right.
Dwayne Wright at Montgomery Advertising. Coach, obviously you came so close a couple of years ago to winning the SEC championship. How frustrating has it been not being able to get back there, and what's got to happen this year for y'all to be in that position again?
Well, obviously you got to win the East. I mean, that's all there is to it. And we're going to play 8 games in league play, and most of them within the Eastern Division. And those head-to-head matchups are crucially important, but all the games count. And so the goal is to get back to Atlanta. The goal is to get there and then win it and get there. But our focus is on the process again. Our focus isn't on getting there as much as what do we have to do on a daily basis to earn the right for victory, and that's what the guys have been doing throughout the off season, the spring, and the summer workouts.
We'll go down there to our left, second row, Bob.
Hey, Mark, Bob, I know you guys took care of business against the West last year, starting on Auburn, but the West has won 6 straight titles and has been pretty successful against the East lately. What is going on with that?
Oh, I don't know, other than when you get to the SEC championship game, the East haven't got it done, and we've been a part of that. So, the bottom line is that, the best team from each side is going to be there. There's going to be one game, and the winner is it. They're the SEC champion, obviously. And, so the bottom line is, like for Georgia, hey, let's find a way to get to Atlanta. Let's get the job done when we get there, and move on to the playoff. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's what everybody's trying to do. But things go in cycles, and at this moment, the West has certainly done, taking care of business on that day.
We'll go about 3/4 back in the section on the left.
Good morning, Coach. James Jr., Star Sports Digest. You mentioned this is your 15th year. How have you seen the league change overall on the field since you started in 2001, and where do you feel like it's going?
You said on the field?
Yeah, on the field.
Gosh, there was always great coaches in my opinion. There's always great venues in my opinion. You know, going back 15 years. I mean, things change as far as style of play. Things change as far as you know, how recruiting works and social media and things. You know, change in that regard. But as far as the play, I'd say the style of play. There's a lot more spread than there was back when I first started. It was a little bit more of a defensive league, I would say, when I first got here, and I think it's still a defensive league, a great defensive league, but I think, you know, offenses are a little more willing to come out of the style of just hammering the ball at you and play action and all that type of thing. So, you know, those things are a little bit different, but for the most part, it's just tremendous competition at stadiums that are gym packed full of fans that love their teams and are willing to support them.
Hey, Coach, we'll go over here to our aisle on our right. Right here.
Hi, Mark. David Morrison, Columbia Tribune. Circling back to cost of attendance, how good do you think the understanding is with coaches around the league where these figures come from and how they're arrived at for service?
You know, I don't know the answer to that. You'd have to ask each coach, but you know, each university has their way of doing it. And this cost of attendance number has been around a long, long time. It's just all of a sudden become a big deal within our world because of how, you know, the players are able to get that cost of attendance figure. So, I think everybody does it just a little bit different. There's not a rubber stamp that says this is how everybody goes about it. And it's a university decision, and maybe sometimes a board of regents decision within a state university system. So it's been around for a long time.
We'll go all the way back left corner.
John Taylor with Associated Press. Why do you think it was important to have the transfer rule regarding domestic violence and draw that line in the stand? And do you think that other offenses, there needs to be some standards for other offenses too?
Well, I think, you know, that one was pretty cut and dry, and I'm not the one who made the decision at all, but I certainly agree with that's a good thing to have as a stipulation for our league. But you know, the bottom line is, you know, it's hard to, just even as a coach and being in charge of 125 young men year after year after year. I mean, if a guy makes a mistake, there's not a book you can open that says, if he does this, you do that. If he does that, you do this, and all that type of thing. So, you know, there's judgment in everything. And even though you might have something that's the same offense, there may be different circumstances.